So hey guys, welcome back to a new video. So in this video, we are going to go over the topic that as a beginner student, what should you consider learning first, acoustic guitar or electric guitar? So before beginning, if you are new here, hi, I'm Aditya Dhingra and now I'm a high school student studying in New Delhi, India. So today with me for this video, I have my friend Vedanta Somnathe and I have known him from 3 years from now. 3 years from now, right? Yeah, and we've had some great experiences of music with acoustic and electric guitar both. So I think he's the correct guy to tell you about electric guitar. So I would like Vedanta to introduce himself first.
Yeah, hi, I'm Vedanta Somnathe. I've been playing guitar for almost 7 years now, and I've had experiences with both types of guitars, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, even classical guitars. Even though I don't own one, I have played them in various parts of music shows and all those things. And I think that as a beginner on any note, let's just get it clear out of the way that if you get an electric or an acoustic or classical guitar, either ways it completely depends on you, and this is just a recommendation for what you should get. uh, Ahead in the video, whatever you might hear, let's just say for the fact that it's personal opinion and not a universal truth.
Great. So, bro, first question that I need to start is a clear summarized answer that what should you consider from your experience, electric, acoustic, or maybe semi-acoustic?
Depending on the beginner, the best choice would be a semi-acoustic guitar because you get a variety of options that I don't think that will be available on both these other sides of the guitars. Now, an acoustic guitar would be particularly tough to learn at first because of its strings. The strings of an acoustic guitar are much tighter than those of and they also have a higher gauge as well. And for the electric guitar, the strings are very much friendly to the hand and to the fingers, and therefore I believe that it's not just this balance between acoustic and electric guitar that needs to be considered, it's also the person. So if you're
Hmm.
a student like us, for example, I would consider getting an acoustic guitar. If you're an advanced player looking to play guitar for a longer while, I would suggest you get an electric as you get various different tones on an electric guitar and you get to explore a genre. Whereas when you're a student, I would suggest you to get an acoustic or a semi-acoustic guitar uh, due to its very tensile strings, and it gives you a very heavy experience on the fingers.
So, bro, now the topic of these physical differences or the visible differences between the acoustic and electrics have come. So, like in acoustic guitars, you have a sound hole, which is the major attraction for the acoustic guitar from which you differentiate either it's electric or an acoustic. So, what are the differences that a student gets when he chooses an electric guitar? The visible ones.
The main difference is, yeah, obviously the sound would be much more different on an acoustic guitar. It would sound much more reverbish, and it would have much more room to amplify. However, with the electric guitar, there's a separate amplifier that's supposed to amplify the sound as a speaker, and it's not exactly the same sound as the acoustic guitar. The acoustic guitar sounds much more natural and is quite heavily used in happy songs and even sad songs, but not as much. But the electric guitar focuses more on the genres considered like rock and roll, metal, heavy metal, all those sorts of tones that could be variable just on an electric guitar, and an acoustic guitar would not be able to perform.
So, bro, what's the difficulty level in electric versus acoustic like? I tell you my experience, the first class that I had with my sir about acoustic guitars was that it was a 1 hour class, and the day I came home from the class, my hands were paining. I got just these fingerprints of strings, and on the first day, I thought that it was quite painful. I wouldn't continue, but as the time grow, I got to some topics which were more difficult, some things which were easier in acoustic. So, what's the difficulty level in your case, electric guitars?
Well, definitely, if you get an electric, it's gonna be a lot easier on the fingers for you. But the easier it is on the fingers, the harder it is to learn. See, the more you press the fretboard, the more the stronger your fingers become. And it's not only that the electric guitar is necessarily much easier to learn. Electric guitar has a variety of techniques to learn, whereas the acoustic guitar does too. However, not as much, because acoustic guitar does not cover as many genres as the electric can. So the difficulty level definitely varies depending on how you would want to approach your music career. If you really want to strengthen your fingers for the future, you should get an acoustic. If you want to take it light and explore genres and look at various other music types, then I would suggest you to uh, choose an electric guitar. But then again, an electric guitar is much more expensive than what an acoustic guitar would cost. So it might not be a fair trade. But in these days, even in India, you can get a much cheaper electric guitar that is the price of an acoustic guitar. So it's definitely a very tough choice. But to make it simpler, acoustic guitar for the long run to make your fingers stronger, and electric to make you understand the theories and make you understand and get interested in this level of guitar as a beginner.
Great. So, what are the genres that electric guitar offers you?
Sorry, what?
What are the genres that electric guitar offers you?
Okay, so electric guitars offer us a variety of genres, and many of them would include a very vast change of pitch and a very vast change of uh, the tone of the guitar as well. So many people, while buying a new electric guitar, would very well look at the tone that it's offering, and the guitar's overall shape and the guitar's overall string quality and holding quality definitely goes to show that the tone of the guitar would be much more different, radically different than any other acoustic guitar. And the genres it covers would be rock and roll. Rock and roll can be played on acoustic as well, but there are some topics that can't be covered by some techniques that can't be covered by acoustic guitars. Hence, it's much more preferred to use in electric. There's all sorts of metal songs that you can cover with this and metal techniques. There's one technique that you profoundly can't do on an acoustic guitar, that is sweeping.
Oh,
So it
right.
really is a very beautiful technique to learn on an electric guitar, but then
Mhm.
again, on an acoustic it won't be possible. And the other genres that the electric would include is jazz and blues. These are very sort of gentle and very heavy sounding genres of music, yet
Mhm.
gentle yet heavy. So it's a very varied sort of tone that you can only achieve on an electric. Also, it depends on what type of an electric you get. Rather, you get an Ibanez, it would give you much more of a metal sort of rock and roll feeling. If you were to get a Fender, you would move more towards the blues side and more towards a jazzy, bluesy guitar. Definitely.
Yeah, so like acoustic offers genres, like it can offer you blues. I think blues can also be played on an acoustic or a semi-acoustic, and even
It
pop.
can be, but you won't get the same tone though. There's
Yeah,
definitely a very good variation of tone on the bridge pickup, and also the acoustic guitar covers some genres that are very close to each other. There's Spanish flamenco and all that you can do on an acoustic
mm.
guitar. There's also you can play Indian songs as well,
Countryside music,
Bollywood
folk.
songs. Yeah, countryside folk, these Bollywood songs that come out, many people prefer those because they are at a short term learning. Many beginners, they look for short term learning of guitar so that they can just play their favorite songs and impress their friends. So it comes easier on an acoustic guitar, and the electric guitar is much more for a serious learner.
So, bro, I want to ask you that will playing guitar affect your social market value amongst your friends or your school or your family mates or your relatives? Is it so? Because
Definitely.
I feel it is. So is it more higher in an electric because it gives you like a very, cool thing with the shape of an electric guitar?
I wouldn't particularly say so, but either ways, any guitar would definitely offer you much more of a social benefit between your friends and family, and with ladies as well.
Okay, I think I'm gonna edit that off. But so
Okay.
so I'm gonna ask you straight away. So what's the price from which you got your first electric guitar, including the amplifier and the cord and the, yeah, you understand what I'm about to say, right?
Yeah. So I got my first acoustic guitar. Let me start with that. I got my first acoustic guitar at the price of around 4,500 to 5,000. It was quite a cheap one because I was just starting to learn down the way. And when I got my first electric was an Ibanez GIO series, which is supposed to be a budget series. It was around 20,000 rupees, including the amplifier. It went around 28 to 29,000. Amplifiers are completely your choice. Many of the amplifiers these days sound much more similar to each other because they no longer have that tube. But it's not an amplifier video, so I
Mm.
won't go into that. So what I'm saying is basically that these days you can also, I got it much more expensive, but you can also get much cheaper electric guitars, like these Fender Squire series. They are
Mm-hmm.
hitting the market really well. So around 7,000 you can get an electric guitar, but if you really want a good quality guitar, I would suggest you to go to Ibanez and original Fender Squires that that are actually on the budget range and not very cheap. So yeah.
Okay, so while choosing an acoustic guitar and then upgrade to an electric guitar, do you think that one needs to choose a semi-acoustic before upgrading directly to electric from acoustic?
Definitely not. Semi acoustic after getting an acoustic is a waste of money, a waste of your time in learning something that you've already done. And I think it's a very fair upgrade from acoustic to electric. However, if you started with a semi acoustic, then that's a very nice package because you should already have an amp with the semi acoustic, and you only have to buy the guitar now. But even as a semi acoustic guitar, what it offers, you can also try to change the tone of your guitar with just these other apps, like GarageBand and
Mm-hmm.
all those
Right.
other apps that are available on these stores. You can definitely change the tone of your guitar with just an amplifier and these apps, and no need for an electric guitar anymore, because the semi acoustic offers a very much of a feeling between the acoustic and the electric, yet you have to maintain your fingers. So I think a semi acoustic would be a very good choice for someone who's also wanting to learn ahead a lot farther than just playing these songs for
Mm-hmm.
yourself and your family and your friends. And also, if you're confused, if you don't want music as your career and just want to play it as a hobby, for both these things, and if you're confused as well, a semi acoustic is a great choice, believe me.
Oh, great. So, like, when if I talk about the price that I like, my dad got a simple acoustic guitar in approximately 6 to 7 years from now in 2013 or 12. And for 4 years, it was just in the cupboard at the upper drawer because I wasn't learning that. So one day he came from, he's like, I got you into guitar classes, so take that guitar and go. So for approximately 6 months, I used that guitar, but then my guitar sir suggested that it's not that great because the strings have started rusting and the fret keys are loose, so it won't give a much difference if you change the strings. So I had to upgrade to a semi acoustic because I wasn't that on a higher level to directly go to an electric guitar. So I took a semi acoustic guitar. So I got a package of the amplifier, the cord, and like the semi acoustic guitar in approximately 20,000 rupees. So I got my guitar for approximately 9 to 10,000 rupees, and then I got a lead for 2,000 rupees, and then I got an amplifier above which got me to 20,000 rupees. So I got your point that what you said is you should just upgrade to acoustic, then electric. I think it was my situation that got me to into buying the semi-acoustic guitar. So, bro, if I talk about the company recommendations for semi-acoustic, acoustic, and electric, so what are good company advices for a beginner for an electric guitar if he has to buy one?
Definitely, for a beginner, I wouldn't suggest something that would be rather expensive, like in the range from 10,000 to 20,000 to 30,000. I would suggest looking at these Cadence series guitars that are these are acoustic as well as semi-acoustic guitars. Cadence is a good one. Juarez is a ripoff, and something else you would want to look into
Epiphone,
starting now
maybe.
is Fender and sorry.
Epiphone, maybe.
Huh, Epiphone is quite good, but it's on the expensive side for a beginner. Um, but I would definitely suggest looking into Fender and Ibanez from this point on as well. If you're looking to buy an electric guitar, there's all sorts of different bands. There's Fender Squire, there's Court, and then there's even in the budget range, there's Schecter these days, and the Ibanez, Fender, and all of these guitars would be available even on Amazon and some store that you go to. So it's definitely the player's choice, but for the most part, I would suggest if you're getting an electric, go for Cort or Fender or Ibanez. For an acoustic, I think you should go for a Cadence or you should go for a Fender or an
Okay.
Epiphone if your budget is a bit more on the expensive side.
And like, what are the recommendations that you can give for the amplifiers? Like, I have a Marshall, I think M130. I'm not sure about the model. I have the Marshall, the same one that you have. So
Hmm.
yeah, what are the recommendations for amplifiers?
For an amplifier, the best amplifier I would recommend is a Black Star amp, one of those ID Core series. I really had my eye on one of those, but it wasn't available at the time I was buying my guitar. So it's not like the Marshall amps are bad. It's just that they don't have much options to go for a very different tone on the amplifier. So the Blackstar ID Core series definitely gives you much more options for just such a low price that the Marshall is offering. Also, if you want to get a very distinctive tone, you can go for Marshall or Orange amps. And the other one that I would suggest you look into is Boss amps. Boss has
Oh,
been in the
great.
market for a real long time, and they're definitely doing something that is
They've made a
keeping them in
legacy
market.
over time.
Well, yeah. So I would suggest you to look into Boss mini series amps, Boss Katana amps, and all of those. So these are my recommendations for an amp.
Great. So, like, what's the closing note or the suggestion that you want to give for a beginner? One last thing that you want
My
to say.
Yeah. So my closing note would be it's not necessary that you buy an expensive electric guitar to be a good player. You just have to put your mind into whatever guitar you buy and the genre you've chosen to explore, and not worry about what the other series would have offered, what the other side would have offered. You should just keep exploring that genre that you have chosen and that guitar that you've chosen, and as your interests grow you can definitely change to a much more different genre. It doesn't matter,
Hmm.
but you can definitely know about guitar starting from an acoustic and even from an electric. So both of them really nice.
So great. I think we have approximately answered all the questions for a beginner, the genres, the sound, the difficulty level, the price, the experience. I think everything we have covered, and the things that we have not covered are to be remained for the next video. So yeah, that's all for this video, and timestamps of the video will be in the video description and also in the pinned comment. So do check them out. And I would ask Vedanta to give some links for the audiences so that I can put them in the description for some budget guitars and amplifiers if you would go. So please check the description out and do leave a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, and share the video. So yeah, thank you. Bye.